This is absolutely insane. Carney pledges $2 billion for Ukraine.
Who in their right fucking mind is still voting for these?
Meanwhile, us Canadians are starving and going homeless because we can't afford the terrible economy the Liberals have created.
Another $2 billion for Ukraine, while your cost of living keeps rising.
While we have senior citizens sleeping in tents on the street in the winter.
Our country, our cost of living crisis, affordability crisis, and I don't understand how.
Welcome to the Canadian Rant. If you're new here, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Let me ask you something. Honestly, how do Canadians sleep at night knowing this? At a time when food bank lineups are stretching around the block, when rent is swallowing entire paychecks, when families are choosing between groceries and heat, our government has sent nearly $2 billion overseas, and here at home, people are skipping meals, seniors are rationing medication, working Canadians are sleeping in their cars. This isn't a political talking point. This is a moral question, because compassion doesn't mean ignoring your own people. So today, I'm asking something simple, but uncomfortable. Is it morally right to send billions abroad while millions of Canadians are struggling to survive at home? This isn't about Ukraine. This isn't about left versus right. This is about priorities. Let's talk about it.
Guys, this is absolutely preposterous. This is absolutely insane. Carney pledges $2 billion for Ukraine. More sanctions on 4th anniversary of Russian invasion. Let me give you some numbers here. Every single month, over 2 million Canadian people line up in front of the food banks here in Canada, all across the country, for food. Over 2 million people every single month. Out of those 2 million people, over 700,000 of them are Canadian children. Over 700,000 Canadian children every single month all across the country line up in front of the food banks for food. All right? Canada has given over $23 billion so far to Ukraine since the war began in 2021. Over 60,000 Canadians are homeless all across the country. Over 60,000 Canadians. All right? Yet, our woke liberal government, our woke liberal socialist Prime Minister Mark Carney gives $2 more billion of your money, of my money, to Ukraine without our consent. This is preposterous. This is crazy. This is absurd. This is insane. It has to stop. It has to stop. Our country is going down the drain rapidly. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure to hit the follow button, like and share for more.
Why are they giving $2 billion to them?
Prime Minister says Canada will also provide Ukraine with 400
Why? There's Canadians struggling in Toronto right now, in Canada right now, and they're trying to give $2 billion to Ukraine. Why?
So bankrupt Mark Carney just pledged another $2 billion to the Ukraine, plus like another 400 armored trucks. No, I'm not even kidding. Meanwhile, us Canadians are starving and going homeless because we can't afford the terrible economy the Liberals have created. And to be honest with you, I'm quite sick of this, because isn't the role of the Canadian Prime Minister to put Canada first? So why is he putting the Ukraine's best interests ahead of our own? Like, this is treason and he should be punished as such.
Another $2 billion for Ukraine, while your cost of living keeps rising. Where exactly are these funds coming from? Mark Carney just pledged yet another $2 billion in support for Ukraine. That brings Canada's total well into the highest per capita contributions in the world, even ahead of larger economies. While Canadians are squeezed by increasing inflation, rising housing costs, and stagnant wages, Liberals keep writing bill after bill here and check after check there, often without clear accountability or benefit for Canadian citizens. Struggling families, rising grocery bills, housing out of reach, healthcare stretched thin. So let me ask you this. Do you feel good about sending billions overseas while so many Canadians are hurting right now?
$2 billion. What's $2 billion? Well, the Canadian government just thinks $2 billion is like candy money, so we're just giving that shit away like it's Halloween. Another $2 billion for Ukraine. Who in their right fucking mind is still voting for these narcissistic, hypocritical motherfuckers is beyond me. 2 billion more. Do you know what this country could do with $2 billion? I don't give a fuck what's happening over there. Okay? I will be that person to say, I don't care what's happening over there. Our people come first. And this is exactly why Albertans have had enough of this bullshit of you taking money out of this fucking country and doing whatever the fuck you want with it, but not doing anything for investments. Do you know what $2 billion could do for some investments on some fucking shit in Alberta or anywhere else in this country? Give your fucking heads a shake.
Mark Carney pledges $2 billion for Ukraine, while we have senior citizens sleeping in tents on the street in the winter. Their pension can't even cover a roof over their head, let alone get the medication and the food that they need. You've got young people that cannot even find work right now. Like what is it, 12% unemployment rate just for young people, folks that are born and raised in Canada? Like, I don't know where he should be spending that $2 billion to get these major projects that they've been talking about for the last 30 years going. You know, we need that. We need those oil and gas pipelines going out west. I don't get it, folks. Tell me, what do you guys think?
Just this morning, Mark Carney announced an additional $2 billion in aid going to Ukraine. Now, as a Canadian, I struggle with this as I look around at what's going on in our country, our cost of living crisis, affordability crisis, and I don't understand how we can do this. We're running record deficits, and yet we can send $2 billion to Ukraine here, $2.5 billion to Ukraine there. It doesn't make any sense. And the Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries right now. They have multiple corruption probes going on. This should be a major concern for Canadians. I don't know how you can stand here and feel comfortable about this. I understand you want to help the Ukrainians. What's going on with Ukraine and Russia is horrible. But we also need to protect Canadian interests. That's what we should be doing, is protecting Canadian interests first.
Breaking news, Canada has offered an extra $2 billion in aid in Ukraine. Now, does anybody know why? And it's becoming more and more obvious. It's because Brookfield and Carney and a lot of liberals have invested in companies that are there to be in charge of the rebuild. Not only that, is there are contracts right now in Ukraine for Brookfield, for AP 1000 construction cost, Westinghouse. Anyways, just to be clear, Canadians, liberals, we're not helping Ukrainians and end the war. We're helping liberals and Mark Carney and American businesses, making sure that Russia doesn't take over so that we can rebuild, or they can rebuild, get a lot of money for it, and protect their investments right now. It's a money laundering scheme. What do you guys think? Make sure to leave a comment, follow. It helps me a lot. Brookfield and the liberals send another $2 billion to Ukraine. Well, not Brookfield, but Brookfield will prosper for it. Thank you, Mark Carney, for not taking care of Canadians, but yourself.
I'm really sorry to be the one to say this, but while Canadians are struggling financially and mentally right now, our government has yet again committed another $2 billion in military assistance for Ukraine over the next year.
Also, additional financial sanctions, a lowering of the oil price cap in coordination with the EU and the United Kingdom. In addition, $2 billion of additional aid, military aid for Ukraine over the course of the next year. We're announcing that today. The Minister of National Defense will give details. In addition to that, something Ukraine needs, which is 400 armored vehicles. We'll be supplying those in kind.
Why are we funding war instead of fixing home? Before anybody twists this, listen carefully, okay? This isn't about supporting or attacking Russia or Ukraine. This is about priorities and about thinking for ourselves. Every time Canadians ask for improvements to healthcare or housing, affordability, food, we're told that there isn't anything that they can do, yet billions continue to be allocated towards military spending overseas. Canada just announced another $300 million in military aid, including a donation of more than 400 armored vehicles, along with expanded training programs for Ukrainian forces. Officials are saying that this is part of a larger $2 billion military commitment already built into government plans. Why does war funding feel automatic and helping Canadians always comes with conditions? You know, instead of only reading Western coverage, I actually went and read Russian news outlets too. Not because I agree with them, but I wanted to understand what the people on the other side are being told. And guess what I found? Completely different narratives about the same war. No shock, really. One side says it's defense, the other says it's escalation. Each side believes that the other cannot be trusted. Even analysts are describing a credibility gap. Ukraine points to past agreements saying that Russia broke them. Russia claims that the West's real goal is a regime change. Trust is disappearing, negotiations are stalling, and the war, well, we just all keep funding it. Most of us are not on the ground over there, right? We rely on governments and media to interpret events for us. So is it unreasonable for citizens to look at multiple sources and ask questions? Because honestly, war shouldn't feel endless in 2026. And right now, Canadians aren't choosing sides. They're just asking, when do we start debating how much is enough? When do we start funding home as urgently as we fund war? Questioning narratives isn't disloyalty. It's thinking for yourself. And a lot of us aren't doing that anymore. I am urging you to try and get people to open their eyes and think for themselves.
Конфликта, за эскалацию, за рост числа его жертв полностью лежит на западных элитах. И, конечно, на киевском режиме сегодняшнем, для которого украинский народ, по сути дела, чужой. Украинский сегодняшний режим обслуживает не национальные интересы, а интересы третьих стран. Не скрывают свои цели. Нанести России, как они говорят, это прямая речь, стратегическое поражение России. Что это значит? Для нас что это такое? Это значит покончить с нами раз и навсегда. То есть они намерены перевести локальный конфликт в фазу глобального противостояния. Именно так и все это понимаем. И соответствующим образом будем на это реагировать.
Here's the part that makes people uneasy, but needs to be said. A government's first moral obligation is to its own citizens. That doesn't mean Canadians lack compassion. It doesn't mean we don't care about suffering elsewhere, but compassion without responsibility becomes negligence. Because while billions are sent overseas, Canadians are watching their own country fall apart, quietly, steadily, and painfully. Food banks weren't meant to serve working families. Homeless shelters weren't meant to be permanent housing. Emergency help wasn't meant to become the new normal. Yet here we are, and the hardest part? This crisis didn't appear overnight. It grew while leaders held press conferences about values, while budgets expanded abroad, while regular Canadians were told to tighten their belts. When people question this, they're often shamed, called selfish, called heartless, told to stop asking questions. But asking where our money goes is not immoral. Ignoring suffering at home is. A nation that can mobilize billions instantly for foreign causes but can't stabilize housing, food, or affordability for its own people is not lacking resources. It's lacking priorities. This isn't about abandoning the world. It's about fixing your house before telling others how to run theirs. Because when Canadians feel unheard, unseen, and financially crushed, trust erodes. And when trust erodes, democracy weakens. So the question isn't, do you care about people overseas? The real question is, why does caring about others require ignoring Canadians? Why is there always money for everything, except affordability, housing, food security, and dignity at home? This conversation doesn't make you cruel. It makes you honest. And honesty is what a healthy country needs right now. So I'll end with this. If helping the world means abandoning Canadians, then something is fundamentally broken, and it's time we stopped pretending otherwise. I want to hear from you. Is this morally right or morally backwards? Comment below. Have the debate. Because silence doesn't help the hungry. And accountability starts with asking the questions others avoid.